Hi, I'm gonna give you a couple of interesting examples that have happened while running the project. This is the overview of the project. We developed the curriculum, we developed the materials, we teach the teachers, we pilot in schools, and then we evaluate the project. I will give one example for each of the stages. So the first stage, developing the curriculum. You know the stuff, we have been talking about it for like 2 days. And then we developed the curriculum. In order to understand what happened in Estonia, I will show the structure in Estonia. So CBM and Wolfram made a contract with Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education gave the project to University of Tartu. I was employed by the University of Tartu, and then we are managing the project. Then there are Estonian experts who are working in Wolfram's place, and then there are teachers and schools. But most importantly for me, there is an academic council, and they are responsible for all the decisions. They decide whether the project has been successful, whether we should pay for the Wolfram's team, whether we should keep going with the project, whether we should extend it to other places. This is like important body. And first stage was finished. We developed the curriculum. We showed the curriculum to them, and they said to me, we haven't done anything. We have failed the first phase. And like I was disappointed. We had been working there for 2 months, like 5 people full time, and they said to us, nothing, zero. And basically they had the power to stop the project as well. But it turns out that this method of taking stories and modules first and real life first without thinking about the actual structure of statistics and mathematics, it was so alien and strange to them that in the beginning they just thought that we haven't been thinking about it, that we don't have anything about statistics. It took a couple of months, lots of working, and this is my advice. We have to talk to people a lot, explain what do we mean by general outcomes, why do we start with these strange lists that Wolfram starts with. Why don't we just take the statistical concepts? We cannot. We will fail to produce something meaningful. We will produce pseudo context if we start from statistical concepts. Second phase, materials. Materials, the same problem. Where is the mathematics? This was solved by the primers. Ulla already said, we believe that it is important to engage teachers. And for me, maybe the most important fact was that there have been lots of people employed by Estonia or by Wolfram, and it seems the younger the person is, the better he or she is. We have fired even some people because they just cannot cope with this different framework for thinking. They cannot handle the Konrad Wolfram's vision. And so, if you want to do it in your country or in your school, hire younger people. It is easier. Teacher training. This is one room. Teachers have been always engaged into the process. At the moment, they are reviewing the materials. They are giving feedback to Wolfram team. I think we got maybe hundreds of pages of feedback. What they think, how the classroom action should be improved, what should be there, what shouldn't be there. I think it's extremely important. If we wouldn't have done it, then the materials will definitely not work. At the moment, we don't know yet. So, engage teachers. Piloting in schools. This will start in February. We will test the materials in 30 schools. We have done some preparation for it. There are some IT people, some central IT system for teachers, posters and leaflets. Exam is an interesting issue. We have an agreement, almost have an agreement with exam board that we will take the overlapping part of both curriculums, such that these students from these schools could still manage with the exam. And then technical support. As you saw already before, there are loads of technical problems everywhere. So we don't know what's going to happen in piloting phase. It will start in February, but it will definitely be very important for us, because actually the most important phase for me is the last one. at the moment, we have to be evidence-based. We don't know whether this Wolfram vision is good even, or whether the materials are good. I believe it. It makes sense for me, but I don't know. We have to get the data from teachers, from students. Are they getting better? Do they feel about it? And so on. These are some of the research topics that we are interested in. How their attitudes are changing, teachers, parents, schools, and so on. But most importantly, are we achieving the outcomes? And I will repeat, this is the most important phase. After this, about in a year's time, we will know whether we were successful, whether we should be going on with the project or not. So you can ask us in a year's time. It's thank you in Estonian. And I'm happy to take any questions because I think you can get some insight about collaboration between Wolfram and Estonia. And I promise to be honest and tell all the secrets what have been.
How did you set up this collaboration with Wolfram in your school? I mean, did somebody come in and say, hey, I'm going to sell you something, or what?
Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by this because there are very many layers of collaboration. Initially, because at the moment we haven't started piloting the phase yet. At the moment there is only a contract between schools and the Ministry of Education. So each school have signed the contract with Ministry of Education. That's why we can take their teachers, train them, use their workforce to get feedback and so on. And now in the near future we will in the contract, there must also assign an IT person. This IT person is responsible for giving out the files, installing the Mathematica into computers, and so on. And there are some, every student will get their own Mathematica for this project, and this IT person is responsible for this. And then later, was this already an answer, or I could go on? You mean the collaboration between Estonia and Wolfram, or?
Yeah. Did they come to you, or did you go to them?
Okay, yeah, it was actually in the slide as well that they met in similar conference. It was an educational conference, and Konrad Wolfram gave his wonderful speech, and then some people were convinced, and then it kept going, and then it was kind of strange and crazy as well in some sense, because all the parties were agreed already that they want to do it together. But then it took a year to sign a contract because you have to do all this paperwork in governments and so on. But yeah, please.
Kristjan, can you just give an example of one of the problems? You talked about it yesterday, and also the curriculum designer talked about yesterday, but it was too small, and I couldn't sit. Like, just give an example of one question that is a part of the curriculum.
Mm-hmm. So one example of from the curriculum and from the materials.
From the materials.
Yeah. For example, are girls better at math than boys? So, how do you answer this? You get the data from the classroom first. Then you're comparing them, you're comparing means, medians, maximums, minimums. Then you understand that you have to actually look at the distributions to make any meaningful answer. Then you get the data from the internet, you are doing something more meaningful. Then you are doing a statistical test, simulating like a non-parametric one, just taking shuffling the people randomly and actually seeing how different classes are forming 10,000 times to get the distribution of errors and so on. One example, 3 lessons. Oh, yeah, please.
Okay, you said that the Wolfram materials haven't been tested. When you evaluate, are you going to get feedback on what the students think of the materials, not just to their performance? Because I looked at the materials downstairs, and one thing I think we should be utilising when they're online is you can make the materials visually stimulating and interesting. And I think that's one thing that I thought they haven't done, like the text is really small and things like that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. I already said as well that there are two main things that we are interested in. One is the attitude and the change of attitude. And we are asking it definitely from the students and from teachers. So they will be asked questions about statistics in general, but also about the materials. Do they like them? Was it easy to use? Would they like them? Would they like these materials to see in other courses, in other areas of mathematics? And I think if both teachers and students are saying that they would like to see these materials in other places, then the problem is solved. Then it has been a successful project. But I don't know, if, for example, teachers say that they want, students don't want these materials, then there are some problems. So yes, we are asking it, and these results will be available, published somewhere in a educational journal, so we can actually, I'm really interested in them, because I do actually want to know, have we been doing something sensible or not, because we will get it from the real life and we cannot predict it that well. So yeah, we will ask these questions. Yeah, please.
In your project, you are asking teachers to do something that they are not used to. To change the way they teach. It's a fundamental change. It means that the teachers have to do extra work. Yes. They have to revise everything. As we know, teachers work very hard. Now, when you ask the teacher to do this extra work, are you going to compensate the teacher extra, or how are you going to work on that?
I could say that for this piloting phase, there is indeed a compensation, one month extra pay, so 1 monthly wage. But in general, I think the attitude of teacher has been very strange. I was worried that they are most against it, they don't want to change it, they don't understand, they don't want to learn it. But it seems that out of all the different parties, teachers are most welcoming the project. They have said to me, it is strange, but they have said that it cannot get worse than it is at the moment. And they don't mean about materials, they don't mean about exam, they just mean their students' attitude. No one cares. And so at least it seems that they are optimistic and they want to try. And about this, is it taking too much extra time? I'm not that sure, because I think these materials are actually giving lots of material for teachers. They're very constrained in some sense. There are all the information, what they should say, what's going on there, and so on. And they said that they don't have to look for extra materials in some sense. They even said that working with these materials seems easier than starting a new course with old materials, because they do have to look for the exercises themselves, make the tests and so on, but everything has been included so far in Wolfram project. So I'm not sure, we don't know yet, they are at the moment just guessing it, but after the piloting phase maybe they're all complaining and whining, then there is a problem. But at the moment it seems that teachers are very okay with it. Yeah, please.
Hi, so I actually have the exact same role as you at my program, and I'm trying to do this over a 4-year high school progression. I was wondering if you had any suggestions with regards to a curriculum similar to this, but for 4 years of high school in the United States.
Curriculum similar to this, but 4 years in high school. What do you mean by 4 years? I'm sorry. Like full mathematics, everything?
Full mathematics, possibly covering same science, maybe some science topics in there as well. The typical progression here is Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-calculus, Calculus.
I think your project is very complicated in that sense.
It definitely is.
We are doing 35 lessons and I'm already struggling with it. So yeah, we are doing 30 schools, 35 lessons in high school. And it is already complicated. We need to train the teachers, we need to train everything there, we need to train the IT persons, we need to do the software, so on, so on. So it is extremely complicated. And to give any advice to you, start from the little things, don't do 4 years at once. Take the first thing, test it, get the results, rapid iteration, agile development, I would say.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's what we are trying to do as well, starting from very small thing, testing it, getting the feedback, and then iterating and getting better, or stopping as soon as possible if you understand that it doesn't make sense to do it. One final question, please. Yeah, it's coming.
The one part of this story that I'm not clear about at all is you started by coming up with the view that you should tell stories, think of problems that you're interested in, get a collection of these, and apparently you showed it to your council and they said, what is this? It doesn't make any sense. But at some point, you did get to the point where you had a very well-defined curriculum, topic, sequence, and so on. How did you get from A to B?
Okay. This well-defined curriculum wasn't well-defined by their definition. They still said that we haven't done anything. It was well-defined by our definition. We had all the things there, all the concepts, all the general outcomes, all the different ways how people are interacting, doing group work, and so on. So I think they just understood that this way of organizing the curriculum does make sense if you want to get the full problem-solving thing, all the general outcomes. So in that sense, we didn't. But we do have all the theory files and primers, which are linked to these storylines or modules. And then by this, we have constructed a separate file for old school people. And there are all the math concepts separately listed there as well. But they are modeled up in every storyline. We are using all of them. They're not that nice, but they still are there separately as well if you really need to only check out statistics and mathematics. So we're trying to get this balance that way. Yeah. Thank you very much.